Angry Birds, the most popular mobile game franchise of all time with countless games in the series, over 5 billion downloads, 2 movies, 50,000 pieces of merchandise and so much more. But why? Let's go back into the depths of 2003, the year of freshwater apparently, and the year Rovio was founded by these 3 people that I can't pronounce the names of, who thought it would be fun to start their own studio after winning a mobile game design competition, which at first was called Reload. They made 51 games from 2003 to 2009, with the most notable titles being Totomi and the Bounce series, but none were major successes. In 2007 the iPhone came around and Rovio saw it as their big chance. They wanted to make a game that would appeal to everyone because that's what the iPhone's user base was. Everybody. But in 2009, Rovio was really close to bankruptcy and only had the budget to make just one game. One day this wonderful guy, a designer at Rovio, drew several pissed, circular, flightless birds in front of a building. Rovio liked the idea and rolled with it. Also, when the game was pitched to Rovio, it was called the Press Birds, but then they realized they actually want to sell this f***ing game and called it Angry Birds instead. But the birds still needed a reason to be pissed, so they used a green pig which this guy used to draw since he was 10 years old. And on December 11th of 2009 the game released, and nothing. Well, for 3 months at least, when Apple agreed to feature the game on the App Store, and not long after the game absolutely exploded in popularity. Many people wanted an Android port, but the team encountered many issues, so they launched a beta where people could report bugs to them. Eventually the port also got released. And just like that, Angry Birds went on to become one of the most recognizable franchises in gaming history. And then they removed the game from all online stores. Of course, there was a reason for that. Technical problems. Gaming keeps changing all the time and phones keep changing all the time, so they had to keep updating this game and many others to keep up with everything until they just gave up and people got pissed. Not only that, but they also started making crappy puzzle games which basically ruined their reputation. But fast forward to June 22nd of 2021, when Rovio announced they're bringing back Angry Birds Classic and making it a premium title again. And some people are still pissed, but that's besides the point. Now about my personal experiences with the game. I've played a bit of Angry Birds Classic here and there, so while this ain't my first rodeo, my experience with the game usually was playing that episode with the funny overpowered electric bomb, using power-ups on mildly annoying levels and playing the 3 Mighty Eagle levels, so overall I haven't played like 97% of the game yet. The only Angry Birds game I ever completed before like 2021 was Angry Birds Star Wars 2. Any other game I just kinda popped in, messed around for a few minutes and that's it, with some Angry Birds Go Riddle exceptions in there. But anyway, let's finally dive into this sucker and see what led to all of this. This is Angry Birds Classic and Rovio Classic's Angry Birds. Yeah, so I'll be reviewing 2 games in this one, how great. I would review just Rovio Classic's Angry Birds, but there's a slight problem with that. They removed half of the episodes. Have you ever heard of a game remake that removes like half of the available content? Cause until now I haven't. Imagine Nintendo re-released Super Mario World but they cut the world in half. So now I have to play the first 8 episodes in the remake and the last 7 missing ones in the original game. Thanks, corporation. So this game is split into 8 episodes, while this one is split into 15. Each episode has at least 15 levels with varying difficulty and all kinds of fun birds to use. To beat a level you have to throw these circles at these circles to defeat them. The more you destroy, the more score you get, and the bigger your score, the more stars you get, up to 3 per level. Every bird except Red and Terrence has an ability, like Chuck can speed the f*** up, the Blues can split the f*** up, and Bomb can f*** the f*** up. The controls are pretty simple.
Stretch a bird, political violence.
Tap the screen,
political violence.
If you run out of birds with at least 1 pig left, then get ready to press that nice restart button. Now let's talk about the Mighty Eagle, who's apparently pretty important. He's in the trademarks after all. Basically, if you throw a can of sardines, this big boy comes in and demolishes pretty much everything in the level, and you can test out the Mighty Eagle in 3 dedicated levels. But if you wanna use it in regular levels, then get ready to spend. Unless you have the remake, he's free there. Also, fun fact, the Mighty Eagle used to be a member of the flock, but after he failed to stop the pigs from taking the eggs, he hid from everyone as he was too scared about what the birds thought of him after this failure. Kind of depressing for a mobile game about throwing shape shapes, another shapes, but whatever. Now let's finally play some Rovio Classics Angry Birds. I'm gonna get straight to the point and review each episode chronologically and rate it from 0 to 3 stars. Starting with Poached Eggs. Not only incredibly iconic but also fun. The levels are simple and straightforward but also have good difficulty and test your ability to aim precisely. I really like levels like these. The solution isn't hard to find, it's doing the solution that's difficult. I think it's a great starter episode. Not sure what else to say because in the grand scheme of things it's not that special, but for a first episode it does the job well. Also, do you ever feel like the birds are way too weak? Like even spitting on the rocks would probably do more damage than Red smashing into them. Like I get Red isn't supposed to work against rocks, but can't he at least push them back? I especially hate the blues. They're made to work against ice, but they don't even feel strong against ice, and they're also microscopic. Mighty Hoax. It's like Poached Eggs, but the structures are bigger. Decent, but nothing special. Danger Above. The structures are even bigger, wow! There's also a nice variety of backgrounds with the city and clouds and all, but some of the levels are pretty annoying. It's okay. The Big Setup. Now this is a fun episode. Most of the flock is trapped and the only birds you can use are Terrans and Hal, mostly Terrans though. And he makes this episode incredibly fun. Slicing through blocks with this big circle is super satisfying. The theme is also quite neat. Definitely a highlight of the game. Ham 'em High. This episode feels longer than it is because of the lack of variety in backgrounds and everything looks boring as hell. And also some of the levels are kinda dog shit. It's not that good. Mine and Dine. The levels have interesting layouts and most of them are difficult yet quite fun. There are a few stinkers but overall not bad. I wish there was more variety in the visuals though. Birthday Party. Not gonna lie, I don't even know how to rate this one because I didn't even finish it. I feel like I got too tired of playing Angry Birds for this fucking video and I just didn't really want to finish this episode. The visuals are kinda nice, I guess. Gonna give it 2 stars. Surf and Turf. Now this episode is exactly what I needed after trying to beat this piece of shit. It's just simple Angry Birds fun, with nice visuals. Not much to it, it's kinda basic, but it's a fun, decent episode. Now let's go over to actual Angry Birds Classic. I'm playing the game on version 7.7.7 because this version has the most content, at least bullshit, because the later versions introduced this fun system where you have to earn stars to progress. So we boot up the game and... why the hell is there a tutorial now? Was Angry Birds really that hard to understand that they needed to teach you how to play the game? Did they think we're f***ing stupid? This game was literally made to be understood by everyone. And this tutorial drags on and it's just so unnecessary. It's not like tutorials weren't in the game before. If there was a new bird in the level, you got a little box telling you what it does. And the tutorial doesn't even teach you how every bird works. Also, the game turns off sound every time you boot it up, which is... interesting. So I turn on the music and... where's the game? Oh, of course, the main story is hidden behind a small button on the bottom right corner. I should have known. Have you ever heard of a game that hides its main story behind a small button on the bottom right corner? Cause until now I haven't. Imagine Nintendo re-released Super Mario Kart, but to play the Grand Prix you have to input a cheat code. Okay, I'll play the damn game now. First up, Bad Piggies. This episode disappointed the hell out of me. Since there's literally a game called Bad Piggies where you make all sorts of wacky vehicles. To win, I expected this episode to have pigs use all sorts of wacky vehicles. But no! I can only think of like 5 levels that had those. And some of the level design was pretty annoying. Yeah, I don't like this episode. Red's Mighty Feathers. This is what the Bad Piggies episode should have been, and even more. It introduces a new variation of Red, which makes him go where you tap the screen, which is very fun to use. The first half of the episode is incredible and full of all kinds of new contraptions, new gimmicks like this thing that sucks you in and influences your launch angle, while the second half has this brand new, I guess, mode called Egg Defender, where pigs attack and you defend. Go figure. You have an infinite amount of Mighty Reds to use, but of course to get 3 stars you have to use less of them, and also defeat all the pigs. If the pigs get the egg, you lose. I think it's the best episode in the whole game due to the incredible gameplay variety, and it's the only episode I wish was longer. Short Fuse. Another incredible episode with many new ideas. Bomb now creates a huge electric shockwave that electrocutes pigs, making them incredibly overpowered and very fun to use. The pigs are trying to learn the power of the different birds like Bubbles, the Blues and Stella, and you can make the pigs use these abilities by getting them to touch these colorful potions. My favorite levels are the ones that you can just demolish with a single bird, like causing a huge chain reaction with potions and explosions. Also, I really like the whole lab theme. It stands out compared to the other episodes. Overall, I'd say it's my second favorite behind Red's Mighty Feathers. Flock favorites.
This one's got a bit of everything. Some levels are like Short Fuse, some like Red's Mighty Feathers, some like Surf and Turf. All the levels are pretty easy and there's not much to say since the themes are recycled, but I guess there's variety. Nothing bad, nothing great either. Bird Island. An episode inspired by the Angry Birds movie. Personally, I like both movies and I'm completely fine with the theme of this one. Gameplay wise it's difficult but short, doesn't really introduce any new ideas, but Billy design in the classic style makes me really happy for some reason. It's pretty good. Piggy Farm. For some reason the beginning cutscene is in what I believe is the Toon style, which is certainly a very creative and fucking stupid choice. I like the theme of this one, you know, with all the fun cows and farm buildings. The levels can be quite difficult, but I feel like this episode is just too long. It drags on and on and on, and it doesn't really introduce anything new. It's just okay. Jurassic Pork. The cutscenes in the Toon style again for some godforsaken reason, but ignoring that, this episode is actually quite decent. I really like the theme and the graphics really stand out compared to the rest of the game. And there are also blocky dinosaurs everywhere, it's great. The level designs felt also quite different from the other episodes. I'm not sure if it's because many blocks are replaced by bones, but it does definitely feel different. The end of this episode confuses me though. All of a sudden there's this caged bird mechanic where you have to launch your bird at a cage to be able to use that caged bird in a level, but it's only used for like 3 levels. The almost last level is a boss fight in massive quotations cause you just throw 2 reds and that's it. And the last level is just on a regular level, which makes you wonder if level 14 and 15 were planned to be the other way around, but they just instead did this to confuse the fuck out of me. And that was Angry Birds Classic for ya. Is the game good? I mean, it was downloaded like a billion times, it has to be. Yeah, so this game still holds up very well. You'd think that compared to modern mobile games, this old ass game would be worse, but no, it's actually quite the opposite. And also I hope that with games like Rovio Classic Angry Birds, Rovio can somehow change the mobile gaming landscape to premium titles again. Also, some of you may have noticed I haven't talked about the Golden Eggs yet, so let's take a look at those right now and see what they're all about. Yeah, this game actually fucking reeks.